Hi, everyone, and welcome to my weekly talk. This week, we're going to be talking about having the motivation to be organized. Hi, beautiful people. Okay, so let's talk about being organized and why it seems to be such a chore. The first thing that comes to my mind is when you notice that you're not being organized. I bet you the very first thing you'll notice too is that you're trying to do too much and or not making something important. I really had a good lesson taught to me by my Rinpoche exactly about this. And it was a little embarrassing too, because I was sitting down having lunch with him one day and having lunch. Did I just say I was having lunch? Yeah, having lunch with my Rinpoche. And I got up and took our dishes to the sink and left them in the sink, thinking, I'll wash those when we're finished. I'm not going to take the time to wash these dishes right now. I want to visit with Rinpoche. And what does he do? He gets up and he goes to the sink and he starts washing the dishes. And I was like, oh no, my goodness. He's a very honored guest in my home. I certainly don't expect him to wash my dishes. And he started teaching me as he was washing the dishes about patience and organization and order and the presence of mind that it requires for us to actually stay organized and orderly in our lives. It was a really important lesson and very humbling to have this beautifully wise and loving being so humbly washing my dishes and using it as a teachable moment for me. So it's really stuck with me. It's been a lesson that stuck with me. Now, I can't say that I'm organized all the time. If anybody's been in my house, they know damn well that's not true. When I get started on a project, I might have a stack over here on this table and a stack on the desk over there. And I keep my stacks in order. But I keep my stacks in order and organized and unless I'm traveling. There's that excuse. But anyway, so the lessons of presence in organization are really important. Now, many of you have heard of mindfulness or mindfulness meditation, mindfulness practices, and that's exactly what organization is. Organization is nothing more than a willingness to be mindful in your daily activities and to take a look at what you're putting on your plate in any given day. A person can still have a lot of tasks to do and have many projects that they're working on and still be organized. Just because somebody is very active or has a lot of projects or is always moving from one thing to another doesn't necessarily mean that they're not organized. It just means they have a lot that they want to do. So how do you become present in your tasks of daily living to help you become ordered and organized? Well, first of all, is just, of course, to check your own resistance. Is there something within you that you're avoiding that's needing your attention? That's the first thing I would ask. Is there something that you really don't want to pay attention to? Do you have a feeling or an emotion, something like perhaps overwhelm or fear that could be interfering with your ability to stay present where you are? And if that's the case, if there's fear and overwhelm, then the solution is to ask for help and to accept help, of course, to help you get organized. The other thing about having this this mindful practice of just being with one task came to me when I was working for the state of Texas as a dispute resolution officer for the Texas Workers' Compensation Commission. I supervised two different departments, and I had an average of 75 phone calls and 14 walk-ins a day. Yes, I remember those exact numbers. Anyway, it was a lot of the same thing. If you take 75 phone calls a day, administering the same law, you hear the same thing pretty much over and over. So I realized that I was not providing the level of service that I wanted to, because I wasn't being present with the caller. So I had just started a mindfulness practice. I started this practice about 25 years ago, 26 years ago now. And I had just started a Buddhist mindfulness practice at that time. And I decided, I know. My phone that rings all day long and that I have to pick up and make calls out all day long, I'm going to make that my mindfulness bell, my practice bell. So every time the phone rang, I would let it ring 3 times, where before I would just pick it up as quickly as I could because I didn't want to hear it ringing all day. But instead of avoiding the ringing, I made the ringing of the phone my friend. And I let it ring 3 times, take a deep breath in and be out, and ask for help from my angels and from God to help me be present for whoever was on the other end of the line. So this deep meditation practice of mindfulness and presence that was brought to my work actually, in the end, helped everything on my desk be more organized. So I had 7,000 to 10,000 cases a year when I worked for the Workers' Comp Commission. And so you can just imagine the paperwork, it's like a freaking cartoon of somebody, sitting at a desk with all of those stacks of paper around them. I literally had those moments. Anyway, the more mindful that I became and the more presence I brought to the people that I was there to serve, the more organized my desk started to get. The less, little pink message slips I had to return. The more organized the files and the paperwork were, the less there was. I mean, it was really quite miraculous. So I would invite you this week, if you're having a problem being organized, just 2 things. Just pay attention to 2 things. Is there something there that you're feeling overwhelmed about, that you're trying to avoid? A sense of helplessness about what it is that's not organized in your life? Or is it a simple matter of presence, that you're not bringing your presence into a situation? And see which one it is. And hey, slip a note in the comments below and let me know what you find out this week. All right, beautiful people, bring your presence into your life, into your work, into your home, and just watch things start getting organized. Have a beautiful week, people. Bye-bye.